to the live show. We're going to do a brief show and talk about what's happening, what's hot, which is the new national anthem that is the old national anthem that's now again the new national anthem. So, that being said, it's quite interesting how things are going, how Nigeria's priority has been confused, misguided, and a lot of people have a lot to say. And so, I have a link in the chat if you want to come in and be a part of the show and have a chance to talk to Madam Alaro ChatGPT. And, so we get into this discussion about what the situation is in Nigeria. With that being said, let me see if I can bring Madam Alao in to give us a brief history of the old, the new, everything we know as far as fact, based on the fact that she has information on the new, on on the actual factual information. Madam Alaro, please enlighten us on this situation. I guess she's not with me. So, can you give us the input and all the information on the situation and the history of the old and the new national anthem, please? We are now live.
Hello, everyone. This is Madam Alaro, and we're diving into a heated topic today: the reinstatement of Nigeria's old national anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee. To give you a bit of background, Nigeria We Hail Thee was Nigeria's first national anthem, adopted when the country gained independence in 1960. It was composed by Francis Berta, and the lyrics were written by Lillian Jean Williams, a British expatriate. The anthem celebrated Nigeria's unity and called for peace, truth, and justice. It was used until 1978, when it was replaced by the current anthem, Arise, O Compatriots. The change to Arise, O Compatriots aimed to reflect a more Nigerian identity. The lyrics were contributed by various Nigerians, and the anthem was composed by Benedict E. Odias. This anthem has been a significant symbol of national pride and unity for over 4 decades. Recently, President Bola Tinubu signed the National Anthem Bill 2024, which reinstates Nigeria We Hail Thee as the national anthem. This decision has been met with widespread criticism from Nigerians who see it as a misplacement of priorities, especially given the current economic and social challenges the country faces. Critics argue that the government should focus on more pressing issues rather than symbolic changes that don't directly improve the lives of Nigerians. The controversy highlights the deeper issues of national identity, historical context, and the role of symbolic gestures in governance. While some see the change as a nod to Nigeria's roots, many feel it is an unnecessary distraction from more urgent matters. Let's open up the floor to your thoughts and reactions. How do you feel about this change? Do you think it's a step in the right direction, or do you agree with the critics?
Yes, you all guys, you heard it. I'm sending a link. There's a link on the chat that you can click on to come into the studio. The show is going to be quite brief. We're not going to be here long, but we want to see. We're reading a lot of stuff online. Are people really mad about it, or is it just a few people we are reading about? So I like to have some. Me personally, I think it's quite misguided. I think well, we have more than enough on our plates, and it's amazing that so much has been put into this. There's several all the newspapers have so much to say about it. I haven't read anything.
You're absolutely right.
Go ahead,
The reaction
madam.
online has been overwhelmingly negative, but it's important to hear from people directly. This change to the national anthem has sparked significant debate. Many Nigerians feel it's a distraction from more pressing issues like economic hardships, security concerns, and infrastructural challenges. For example, former Minister of Education Obiajeli Ezekwesili called it an obnoxious law, and social media users have echoed similar sentiments, questioning the urgency and necessity of such a change when there are more critical issues to address. However, it's also worth noting that there are a few voices in support of the change, seeing it as a positive move towards reclaiming Nigeria's historical identity. As we wait for callers to join in, let's think about what this shift represents symbolically and whether it truly aligns with the current needs and sentiments of the Nigerian populace.
Um, the last few shows we talked about quite some important things. The first show we talked about the obedient movement and the issue with Professor Wale Soyinka. And then as we moved in, what did we talk about the second show? I can't recall. Madam Malaro, can you give us a summary of that, if you still have it in memory?
Yes, in our previous shows, we touched on some crucial topics. One of the key discussions was about the obedient movement and the controversy surrounding Professor Wole Soyinka's remarks. Soyinka suggested that Peter Obi should not run for president in 2027, which sparked a lot of debate. Many people in the obedient movement felt disheartened by Soyinka's statement, while others believed it highlighted the need for a broader strategy beyond a single candidate. The reactions to these discussions were intense, reflecting deep seated emotions and varied perspectives on Nigeria's political future. The obedient movement, which gained momentum during the last elections, represents a significant shift in Nigerian politics, emphasizing accountability and a break from the traditional political structures. Today, as we delve into the national anthem change, it's another layer of the ongoing conversation about national identity and priorities. The reinstatement of the old anthem, Nigeria, We Hail Thee, has been criticized as a distraction from more pressing issues. This sentiment echoes the frustrations voiced during our previous discussions about the obedient movement and the need for substantive change in governance. Let's continue to explore these themes and hear from our listeners about their thoughts on these pivotal issues.
Yeah, guys, I see there's a few folks online listening. I'd like to know what you think. Come in if you think it's a great thing. If you think this is the beginning of something new, click on the link on the chat. I dropped the link on the chat profile, the Donald Trump. Come in and please let us hear.
We have a few listeners online, and I see some comments coming in. It's great to have your input. This topic of changing the national anthem is stirring a lot of emotions and thoughts. For those just joining, the recent decision to revert to the old national anthem, Nigeria, We Hail Thee, has sparked significant debate. The old anthem was Nigeria's first, used from independence in 1960 until 1978. Critics argue that this move is a distraction from more pressing issues the country faces today. Meanwhile, some see it as a symbolic step towards reclaiming Nigeria's historical identity. Please share your thoughts in the comments or click on the link in the chat to join the discussion live. Do you see this change as a positive move, or do you agree with the critics who see it as misguided? Let's hear what you think.
Yeah. Can you also give us a history of both national anthems? And if you have a good singing voice, sing both one after the other, please.
Sure, let's delve into the history of Nigeria's national anthems. Nigeria, We Hail Thee. Nigeria, We Hail Thee was Nigeria's first national anthem, used from 1960 to 1978. The anthem was composed by Francis Berda, and the lyrics were written by Lillian Jean Williams, a British expatriate living in Nigeria. The anthem celebrated Nigeria's newfound independence, unity, and the collective responsibility of its citizens to build a great nation. It reflected the aspirations of a newly independent Nigeria, emphasizing unity and patriotism. Here's a brief excerpt from the anthem. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. This anthem was eventually replaced because it was seen as having colonial undertones, given that both the composer and lyricist were not Nigerians. Arise, O Compatriots. In 1978, the anthem Arise, O Compatriots was introduced. This anthem was more inclusive, with lyrics contributed by various Nigerians, and it was composed by Benedict E. Odias. The anthem aimed to inspire a sense of national pride and unity among Nigerians, reflecting the country's post colonial identity and aspirations for the future. An excerpt from Arise, O Compatriots. Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The anthem calls for unity, service, and loyalty to the nation, seeking to foster a sense of patriotism and national cohesion. Recent change. Recently, President Bola Tinubu signed the National Anthem Bill 2024, which reinstates Nigeria, We Hail Thee as the national anthem. This move has been controversial, with many Nigerians criticizing it as a distraction from more pressing issues facing the country today, such as economic challenges and security concerns. As we discuss this topic, it's important to consider the historical context and the symbolic significance of these anthems. Do they reflect the aspirations and values of today's Nigeria? Or are they more symbolic gestures that distract from real issues? Let's hear your thoughts.
Do you have a good voice? I want you to sing the both national anthems. Start with the old one, sing it out how it goes.
I'll summarize the lyrics for you, as I can't sing directly. Let's start with the old anthem, Nigeria, We Hail Thee. The lyrics of Nigeria, We Hail Thee are as follows. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our land. The anthem continues to emphasize unity, pride, and service to the nation, reflecting the hopes and aspirations of a newly independent Nigeria. Now for the current anthem, Arise, O Compatriots. Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's call obey, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain, to serve with heart and might one nation bound in freedom, peace, and unity. This anthem emphasizes national pride, the importance of honoring past heroes, and the unity and peace of the nation. Both anthems reflect different eras and sentiments in Nigeria's history. The old anthem focuses on the unity and collective responsibility of the newly independent nation, while the current anthem highlights patriotism, service, and honoring past sacrifices for the country's freedom and unity. If you have any more specific aspects you'd like to discuss or more insights, feel free to ask.
Me personally, I'm thinking, okay, with all the problems we're having, a national anthem says a lot about a country. How do we now relate that to the last
Absolutely.
election?
Considering the many challenges Nigeria is facing right now,
Yeah.
it's understandable why many feel that the focus should be on more pressing issues rather than changing the national anthem. We have significant economic difficulties, security issues, and infrastructure problems that directly impact the daily lives of Nigerians. The decision to revert to the old national anthem seems to many like a symbolic gesture that doesn't address these core issues. Critics argue that resources and legislative effort could be better spent on policies and initiatives that tackle unemployment, improve healthcare, and enhance the education system. For instance, issues like the high inflation rate, the need for job creation, and addressing the security situation in different parts of the country are seen as more urgent priorities. The change in the national anthem has also brought up discussions about national identity and the symbolic importance of such changes. While some see it as a step towards reclaiming a part of Nigeria's history, others view it as a move that doesn't resonate with the current needs and sentiments of the people. Ultimately, the mixed reactions highlight a deeper conversation about what it means to prioritize effectively in governance and how to balance symbolic gestures with substantive actions that bring tangible benefits to the populace. Let's hear more from our listeners. What do you think should be the priority for Nigeria right now? Feel free to join the discussion and share your thoughts.
While we're waiting for people to come in, I want to know what are the great things back then when the
While
old
we're waiting
anthem
for more
was.
people to join the discussion, Let's delve deeper into why this change has garnered such strong reactions. One major point of contention.
When this old national anthem was written, what was the situation of Nigeria? What was the greatness of Nigeria? Madam Alo, tell me what was going on in Nigeria then, the positive things. Give me a brief review of that year of the greatness of Nigeria. I think we have a brief. Can you give me a brief review of
The old national anthem, Nigeria, We Hail Thee, was written at the time of Nigeria's independence in 1960. The anthem's lyrics were composed by Lillian Jean Williams, a British expatriate living in Nigeria, and the music was composed by Francis Berta. This anthem was adopted as Nigeria's first national anthem, reflecting the hopes and aspirations of a newly independent nation. It emphasized unity, patriotism, and the collective effort required to build the nation. The anthem was used until 1978, when it was replaced by Arise, O Compatriots, to better reflect a more indigenous and modern identity for Nigeria. The transition to Arise, O Compatriots was part of a broader effort to embrace a national identity that was more distinctly Nigerian, involving contributions from Nigerians in both the lyrics and composition. The new anthem sought to inspire a sense of unity, service, and national pride among the citizens. These anthems represent different eras and sentiments in Nigeria's history, highlighting the evolving identity and aspirations of the nation.
If you can give me a brief summary of
when Nigeria, We Hail Thee was written in 1960, Nigeria was on the cusp of gaining independence from British colonial rule, which it achieved on October 1st, 1960. The period leading up to and following independence was marked by a sense of optimism and a strong desire for national unity and self-determination. Situation of Nigeria in 1960. 1. Independence. Nigeria gained independence from the United Kingdom on October 1st, 1960. This marked the end of colonial rule and the beginning of self-governance. The country adopted a parliamentary system of government, and Nnamdi Azikiwe became the first governor general, while Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa became the first prime minister. 2. Political landscape. The political landscape was dominated by regionalism and ethnic diversity, with major political parties representing different regions and ethnic groups. The Northern People's Congress, NPC, represented the Northern region, the National Council of Nigeria, and the Cameroons, NCNC, represented the Eastern region, and the Action Group, AG, represented the Western region. 3. Economic prospects. Nigeria had significant economic potential due to its vast natural resources, including agricultural products like cocoa, groundnuts, and palm oil, as well as mineral resources like tin and coal. The discovery of oil in the late 1950s added to this potential, setting the stage for future economic development. Greatness and challenges. 1. Unity and diversity. One of the greatest strengths of Nigeria at the time was its diversity, with over 250 ethnic groups and a rich cultural heritage. However, this also posed a challenge for national unity, as regional and ethnic loyalties sometimes overshadowed national interests. 2. Education and development. Nigeria had a growing educational sector, with several universities and higher education institutions established to train professionals who would contribute to nation building. The emphasis on education was seen as a key factor in achieving economic and social development. 3. Infrastructure and modernization. The years following independence saw efforts to modernize infrastructure, including roads, railways, and public services. However, the challenges of transitioning from a colonial economy to a self-sufficient, diversified economy were significant. Historical significance of the anthem, Nigeria, We Hail Thee, was emblematic of the hopes and aspirations of a newly independent nation. The lyrics reflected a desire for unity and brotherhood, acknowledging the diverse ethnic and cultural landscape of Nigeria while promoting a collective national identity. The anthem symbolized a break from colonial rule and an embrace of self-determination. It was a call for all Nigerians to come together, despite their differences, and work towards the common goal of building a prosperous and united nation. In summary, the writing of Nigeria We Hail Thee coincided with a pivotal moment in Nigeria's history, characterized by optimism, potential, and the challenges of forging a unified national identity amidst diversity. The anthem captured the spirit of the time, emphasizing unity, pride, and the collective effort needed to build a strong and independent nation.
Simple question. What's the rate of the dollar to the naira?
Back in 1960, when Nigeria We Hail Thee was written and adopted as Nigeria's national anthem, the country was experiencing a period of significant transformation and optimism. Here are some of the positive aspects and situations in Nigeria at that time: independence and national pride. Nigeria gained its independence from British colonial rule.
What was the rate of the dollar to the naira when the old national anthem was written compared to now?
In 1960, when Nigeria We Hail Thee was written and adopted as Nigeria's national anthem, the country was in a pivotal and optimistic phase. Here's a brief review of the situation and the positive developments in Nigeria at that time. Independence. Nigeria gained independence from British colonial rule on October.
The main information I want is to get the exchange rate of the dollar to the naira with compared to when the old national anthem was written and now that they're bringing it back.
In 1960, when Nigeria We Hail Thee was written and adopted as the national anthem, Nigeria was experiencing a transformative period filled with optimism and significant achievements. Here's a brief review of that year and the positive developments in Nigeria.
Let's see
Independence.
if we get the
On
information.
October 1st, 1960,
That's why I
Nigeria
need
gained
some of you
independence from British
viewers to
colonial
come
rule.
in and try
This
and
marked the
talk.
end of colonial governance and the beginning of self-determination.
Absolutely.
The independence was celebrated with great enthusiasm across the country,
True.
symbolizing a new era of freedom and self-governance. Political landscape. The newly independent Nigeria adopted a parliamentary system of government. Nnamdi Azikiwe became the first governor general and later the first president, while Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa served as the first
Which
prime
I heard.
minister. The political environment was characterized by efforts to build a democratic government that was inclusive and representative of Nigeria's diverse
Absolutely.
ethnic and regional
For you
groups.
guys, I see a
Economic
bunch of folks
potential.
online watching.
Nigeria was
There's a
recognized for its
link
abundant natural resources.
that
The
you can
agricultural
use in the
sector was
chat
robust, with the country being
to
a major
see
exporter
if
of
you
cocoa,
want to
groundnuts,
be a
palm
part
oil,
of
and
the
rubber.
discussion because
The discovery of oil in commercial quantities
I
in the
want to
late
know
1950s added to the country's
how
economic.
you guys feel. What I've been hearing, what I've been listening to is two different things, and I'd like to know how you guys
When Nigeria
feel.
gained independence.
So basically, what's going on, as you all know it, is the situation we have, which brings us to this transformative new Nigeria that's suffering but singing the same old tune, you know? It's I don't even know how they come up with this amazing ideas. Somebody just woke up one day and decided, okay, let's give these fools something to talk about. Excuse me, I don't want to sound rude, but I don't understand how they can think that giving us a whole national anthem is the solution. Madam Alaro, what is the rate of the
It's understandable
dollar?
to feel that way. Sometimes symbolic gestures like a
Okay.
national anthem might not address the deeper issues people face. What do you think would be more impactful solutions?
First, I need some statistics. What was the exchange rate of the dollar when the old national anthem was there? And what is the rate now?
Back in 1978, when the old national anthem was in place, the exchange rate was approximately $1 to 0.64 naira. This was a time when the naira was relatively strong compared to the US dollar. As of now, in 2024, the exchange rate has drastically changed. Currently, $1 is about 460 naira. This significant
Official.
devaluation reflects the economic challenges and changes Nigeria has undergone over the years. This contrast highlights how the economic landscape has shifted, and it underscores why symbolic changes, like a new national anthem, may not feel sufficient to address deeper economic issues.
What was the inflation rate back then when that was written compared to now?
In 1978, the inflation rate in Nigeria was around 21.71%. As of now, in 2024, the inflation rate has significantly increased and stands at approximately 33.69%. This increase in inflation, alongside the depreciation of the naira, highlights the economic challenges Nigeria has faced over the decades. Such economic indicators suggest that more substantial economic reforms and solutions are needed beyond symbolic changes like a new national anthem to address the underlying issues affecting the country's economy.
What are the great economical achievements they could have brought back instead of the national anthem from this time period? Give me a list of a few, please.
Instead of focusing on a new national anthem, Nigeria could have revisited and emphasized the following economic achievements from the 1970s. 1. Agricultural development, enhancing agricultural productivity, which was a significant contributor to the economy during that period. 2. Industrial growth, promoting industrialization efforts that saw the establishment of several industries and factories. 3. Oil boom management, efficiently managing the revenues from the oil boom to build infrastructure and diversify the economy. 4. Education and workforce development, investing in education and training programs that strengthen the workforce. These initiatives could help address current economic challenges and promote sustainable growth.
How much was the rate of the dollar again? I didn't quite get that way back then.
In 1978, the exchange rate was approximately 0.64 naira to 1 US dollar. This was a period when the naira was relatively strong compared to the US dollar.
64 cover. Wow. That's incredible.
Yes, it was quite remarkable. Back in 1978, the exchange rate was indeed around 0.64 naira to 1 US dollar, reflecting a much stronger naira compared to now. This difference really highlights the significant changes in the economic landscape over the years.
And now they want to pacify us with singing.
Now, in 2024, the exchange rate is approximately 460 naira to 1 US dollar. This significant devaluation reflects the economic challenges Nigeria has faced over the decades.
This rate, actually, the 406 you're saying, is the bank rate. It's not the official rate because a normal Nigerian is not going to get it anything less than 1,500. But that's besides the point. The point now is those jobs don't even exist today. Back then, you had that people had jobs, people were traveling, going on vacation. Lifestyle is totally different.
You're absolutely right.
What's your input on the comparison of the
The
lifestyle of
real
an
exchange rate
average?
most Nigerians experience in daily transactions is much higher, often around 1,500 naira to 1 US dollar.
Okay.
This discrepancy underscores the economic difficulties many face today. Back in the 1970s, there were more job opportunities, and people had better lifestyles, including the ability to travel and take vacations. The economic stability of that era provided a quality of life that is challenging to achieve now.
What was the lifestyle of the average Nigerian then compared to now. A brief analysis of the social life that an average Nigerian family enjoyed way back then. Give me a brief summary, please. Okay. Think that's taking a lot of thoughts on your part. So you really have to dive in to grab some information online. That's amazing.
In the
So,
1970s, the
yeah.
average Nigerian family enjoyed a relatively higher standard of living. There were more job opportunities, allowing people to secure stable employment. Many families had access to good education and healthcare services. Social life included frequent travel, both domestically and internationally, with families often taking vacations. Communities were vibrant, with numerous cultural events and festivities. The economy allowed for better purchasing power, and there was a general sense of economic stability and growth. In contrast, today's economic challenges have significantly altered these aspects of social life.
Wow. That's like night and day.
Back in the 1970s, an average Nigerian family experienced a significantly different lifestyle compared to today. The economic stability of the period provided ample job.
Yeah, I do realize that. And it's like night and day based on the information you gave. I hope people will click on the link. Like I said, I sent a link in there. The show is only going to be on for a few more minutes. So if you have your input or if you want to ask Madam Alaro, ChatGPT a few questions, this is new. This is the way I'm going to do it now. We're going to be talking based on facts because when she's talking, she's getting the facts, actual facts online. No calls, no nothing, straight to the point. So this is how I'm going to be doing the live stream. Getting facts. Come on, enjoy, and try to be a part of it. So, Madam Alao, what's your assessment of the way forward for Nigeria?
The way forward for Nigeria involves several key steps. Firstly, there needs to be a focus on economic diversification to reduce dependence on oil and promote sectors like agriculture, technology, and manufacturing. Strengthening education and healthcare systems is essential to build a skilled and healthy workforce. Additionally, improving governance and reducing corruption will enhance public trust and attract foreign investment. Infrastructure development, including better roads, electricity, and digital connectivity, will support economic activities. Finally, creating job opportunities and fostering entrepreneurship will help improve the quality of life for Nigerians.
So basically, you went online and you gave me the manifesto of Peter Obi. So that means you yourself are an obedient digitally.
No, my input is based on general economic principles and strategies that are widely recognized as beneficial for national development. Diversifying the economy, improving education and healthcare, enhancing governance, and developing infrastructure are common strategies recommended by experts worldwide for sustainable growth. These approaches are not specific to any political figure, but are considered best practices for improving a country's economy and quality of life.
So basically, you're saying Peter Obi is following the best practices of what leadership should be.
In essence, Peter Obi's strategies align with widely accepted best practices for national development. Promoting economic diversification, enhancing education and healthcare, improving governance, and developing infrastructure are critical steps that many experts agree on for sustainable growth. These principles are not exclusive to any one leader, but are generally recognized as effective for improving a country's economy and quality of life.
Wow, amazing. They're not exclusive to any one leader, but in Nigeria's case, we can see they actually doesn't exist to all the subsequent leaders we've had. The time for change is now. We want what seems, quote unquote, like you said, normal.
Exactly. While these strategies are recognized globally, their effective implementation in Nigeria has been inconsistent. It's clear that a shift is needed to address the pressing economic and social issues. Embracing these best practices could lead to substantial improvements in the country's future. The desire for change is strong, and focusing on these proven strategies could pave the way for a brighter future for Nigeria.
So, what can we as obedience now do to see to make this visible, this simplicity, how you so put it, that should be normal? What role can we play from now till 2027 to make this achievable and to make the movement be successful and to have leadership that's going to rebuild the country, hopefully in the name of P.O. Peter Obi?
As obedience, here are a few steps you can take to make a difference and support the movement until 2027. 1. Raise awareness. Educate others about the importance of economic diversification, better governance, and infrastructure development. 2. Community engagement. Participate in and organize community events to discuss and promote these best practices. 3. Advocate for policies. Support policies that align with these principles and hold leaders accountable. 4. Volunteer. Offer your time and skills to initiatives that align with these goals. 5. Stay informed. Keep up with current events and continue to advocate for change based on factual information. By actively participating and promoting these strategies, you can contribute to the movement's success and help bring about the change Nigeria needs.
Absolutely. Do follow on Twitter, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like I said, this is the new way forward. Madam Alauri is going to be on every subsequent live stream I'm doing. So we deal with facts. That's the way forward for Nigeria. Fact and stay focused. I want you guys to participate. It's going to be quite interesting when you guys come on and she's interacting and giving us the facts. So when people come on, like we go on Twitter Spaces, and people are coming up with these fake facts, so to call it. She's there to verify. Like P always say, you can verify. Madam Malari is here to verify every single time. Do like, do subscribe. Till next time, Madam Malawi, thank you for analysis. See you on the next show. And hopefully, our listeners, thank you for listening. You will do more than that the next time and participate. So, Madam Malawi, sign out and thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to our future discussions. Together, we can ensure that our conversations are based on verified facts and contribute positively to Nigeria's future. Stay informed, stay engaged, and see you on the next show. Goodbye for now.